everybody. Yes, honey, mother is back. Yes, back like a rash, guys. Can y'all make? I just want to make sure y'all can hear me. But anyway, we are back once again. Today we have a special guest. She'll be joining us in just a moment. I wanted to first come on and let you guys know. You know, Obviously, you saw the thumbnail. We're going to be talking to a woman who has lived through boxing's politics, accusations, cancellations, abuse, but was still showing up ready to fight. She is a former world champion, Hanna Gabriels. She'll be joining us, like I said, in just a moment. She's breaking her silence on what really happened with the Clarissa Shields rematch, the VADA situation, the politics behind the scene, and the life outside the ring that most of y'all never get to hear about. So if you're watching this live and you have any questions, just drop them in the chat and I will try and get to them respectfully as I can as we move through the conversation. Um, but obviously, if there's something that you guys really want to know, you can send it in the super chat. Make sure you like this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And also, if you have not used all your hypes for this week, make sure you hype this video as well. Um, I sent her the link. I'm just going to double check, make sure she received it. This way we can go ahead and get started when she arrives. We went through most of our news yesterday. There hasn't been really any new developments outside of, I believe, the Subria Mattia situation. As I said, I will be watching that closely. I'm gonna wait to just see how this whole thing unfolds. It looks like it may have been a contamination situation, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to speak on it too early. Once I get more information, as I said, I will bring it to you all. Of course, you guys saw what I posted on the community page. All of the gentlemen made weight, so we have us a fight card tomorrow with it still intact as it stands now. Um, it does appear that I know some people were saying that maybe Brian looked a little weight trained. I didn't see that. He looks to me the same way he normally does, in the face and in the body. He's not that big of a guy, even when he's not, in training camps. So I really didn't get that from his imagery. But, it is what it is. A lot of things will be said during this process and, trying to shape narratives. But tomorrow, the time is ticking, honey. So we're gonna get right to it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring on our guest now, guys. Here we go. Hannah,
Hello, my dearest.
how are you?
Hold on, let me gonna work
Okay.
better.
Oh, oh, that's your baby. Can you see? Can you see me?
And okay, let's see. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm not able to
Can you
hear
hear me?
you.
You're not able
Okay,
to
let
hear
me
me?
get back. Let me get my
Okay. Headphones?
earphones.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me make sure it ain't me, child. Look, 'cause sometimes I be having some issues. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Can y'all hear me? Put a one in the chat if y'all can hear me, because maybe it's not her, maybe it's me. Oh no, I don't think they can hear me. Child, I'm gonna get it together, y'all. I promise. Mother is gonna get her some stuff. I'm gonna get me a ring light. Oh, you can hear me. Okay. Mother gonna get her a ring light, child. I'm gonna get me a little station situation. I'm gonna get it together. But when she comes back, we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah, guys. But as I was saying, um, I didn't really see anything wrong with his physique out of the normal. So, we'll see tomorrow. You can hear me, Jonathan? Great. You guys make sure you smash the like button. Okay, she's back.
Let me see. Hold on.
Can you hear now? Is that better?
Disconnecting right now. Hold on.
Is that better?
Let's see if it works now.
Is that better?
Can you hear me?
I think you froze. I can hear, well, I could hear you. She's currently in Costa Rica, guys, so maybe we're having a little bit of a connection snafu. You're frozen, Hannah. Yeah, let me text her. Let's see. Oh, okay, she had to go out. She'll come back. Whew. Let me drink some water before she come back in here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not sure. She was having some connection issues. Hold on. Hopefully she'll get those taken care of and we can get back. I do apologize, guys. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Ah, I can hear you perfectly well. Good. Now we're cooking with some sort of grease. Hannah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad our schedules were finally able to align to, get this done. I understand you are a busy mom. I know that feeling all too well. So I'm glad that we were able to finally get our schedules in alignment. But how do you introduce yourself to someone who has no idea who Hanna Gabriels is, beyond the world of like championship boxing?
Well, let me first thank you because I know you just came back from picking up your daughter. So you
Mm-hmm.
have a busy day, a busy life as well. So it is my honor that you have opened up a little space for me.
Of course.
How will I introduce myself? My name is
Mm-hmm.
Hanna Gabriels. I was someday named the Amazon Black Gabriels, and I've been called like that ever since. I've I've been a world champion of 4 different divisions. Uh, you know, in my 15-year-old professional career, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mom. I'm empowerment and self defense instructor for kids and for women, where we try to give tools to this community that sometimes, they find themselves in a vulnerable situation, and they don't want to and they don't know how to deal with violence. And so we give them tools for them to defend themselves, but not only physically, but the most important tools are the emotional ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your ability to read red flags, your ability to choose yourself over anything else, anything that will subtract from your dignity, from your self value, to get away from those things. So I do a lot of things, but my profession is boxing. It's been a long and a beautiful journey, full of ups and downs. And the reason why I have come up or try to speak up a little bit is because it is time, first of all. Secondly, because I believe people wants to hear now, at some moment, in some moment, or at some point, the noise was big and nobody wanted to listen, and it's been taken uh, since the doping chapter happened. It's been 2 years, but I have been investigating and trying to understand what happened. And just roughly 4 weeks ago, I finally was able to deconstruct everything, and I was hoping that I was going to fight by this time, but nothing has happened. And like I said, just recently I did deconstructed and realized what happened. And I believe more important and better than me stepping in the canvas, it is much more urgent and important for people to understand what are the things they are facing when they trust blindly on the authorities that sometimes might not be willing to follow their own rules to guarantee uh, fair game, fair play, right? And so I believe that I'm a 42-year-old athlete. So there's a lot of parents, even coaches, that
Mhm.
sometimes want me to give them words of motivation, that wants me to give them a information how they can make it to the top and stuff like that. And I believe there's very little that is to be said about these legal implications because not many athletes go through it. That's because many of us are fair, many of us love the sport, and many of us wouldn't cheat. But unfortunately, that is not in all the cases, and I believe authorities should be on top of it. But when there are situations like mine that are accidental, that has to do with an exposure that you cannot only avoid because it's part of your family obligations, but it is just a symptom of that athlete having a life, having a family, So um, when decisions are made, and when those decisions could impact that human being's career to the point that it could be destructive, I think that those decisions have to be taken with ethics, integrity, with respect of the athlete, with respect of their effort and their life, but also for the respect of their own rules. Because if you check on any of those websites, their main mission and their vision is to uh, take care of the well-being of each athlete. And in
Right.
this case, all of those rules were ignored, which of course it translated into harm to the athlete.
Hmm. Hmm. You know what, Hannah, that's interesting because actually that was going to be my next question. What was the most, I guess, when you look back at it, what was your most, I guess, like political moment in boxing? Was it with this testing surrounding the VADA testing? And what happened with that? Because to my understanding from what I read, your dog was having babies or something, right? And it was the medication that you touched.
Yeah, it does. When you ask me, was this the hardest situation in my career? That's what you asked.
Yeah, was this the most political moment in your career that you realized,
Oh,
like, okay,
definitely, definitely. It was
mm,
really tough because I mean, when I have been an athlete since I was 5 years old.
mm-hmm,
So when you have dedicated your life to the sport, some people say, well, she should have known better. But I want
right,
people to understand that people that are clean athletes, they don't know better. They don't care about these things because we aren't trying these things. You know what I'm saying? We are
mm-hmm,
not trying to find out because we are not interested on that. The
right,
professionals in this, the professionals in these subjects are them. One of the things I would like people to have uh, self thought and thought. Critical thought is the fact that if you check on their websites, they say also that they are studying these substances for
mm-hmm,
prevention, for education. And if you go and try to find out anything on these substances, they know nothing. They know nothing about it. Their only job is to detect them. And just
right,
by the appearance of the substance, they feel like is their right to destroy an athlete's career. And I, for no means, want to say that I agree with an athlete taking substances, but it also that is in their sovereignty, in their free will, and that's what there are sports where those things are allowed, and they know a lot about those things. But boxing being the sport that it is, and being a contact sport, any substance that could enhance the performance is dangerous for the opponent, or even for the athlete himself. But they know nothing about it, and that's why.
Mhm.
And the reason why is because for them to have an investigation on these things, they will have to count on the compliance of the athlete, and this will have to take weeks, months, and to see, what are the real, causes and
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 money.
and consequences on all of that. And nobody is willing to be studying like that, because the
Mhm.
punishment and the hypocrisy is way too big. So for the athletes that are not, playing this type of games, all of this, all of these things, we hope never to have to deal with them. But that
Right.
is it is said that the only way you will avoid problems is to not engage with those, with situations that will lead to those problems. When I
Right.
when I traveled to Detroit, I think it was probably the 22nd of April,
June.
something like that. It was the
Are you talking about the
22nd.
Clarissa fight? You talking about the Clarissa fight?
Yeah, the
Yeah, you
press
fought her.
conference. Or what?
Oh, the press conference. I thought you were talking about the actual fight because you fought her June 22nd.
I think it was 22nd or something. I came to Costa Rica,
Mm-hmm.
and the puppies were born on the 26th. So
Mm-hmm.
we did the puppies that we have are French bulldog. So they
Okay.
are usually unable to breathe by themselves because
Mm-hmm.
of their back and something. But we live in the mountain. So somehow
Mm-hmm.
one day they escape us, and they had their things somewhere, and they were successful. And by the time I came from the um from the press conference, I saw my dog like big, like a balloon.
Oh
And we
wow.
got all, scared, and we took it to the doctor, and the doctor says, we got, as much 3 days. And if we don't, if they don't do C-section, the puppies can die, because the French bulldog condition is that they as usually dogs or humans, whatever, they have their respiratory ways and their eating ways different, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
something that separates it. But the French bulldog, when they're born, they don't have that division. So when they eat the milk, it can go through their lungs, and if it reach the lungs, they die. So the cleaning process has to be very, very, very sneaky, right? You have to clean the dog before the puppies are going to be fed, and then you have to stimulate them for them to pee first, and then you put them to
Mm-hmm.
eat, and then once they eat, you clean them, you put them there, you stimulate them for them to maybe do the second thing, and then you clean the mom, and then you put the spray that the doctor sent me for her, which is called Neocept. It is a
Yeah.
veterinarian medicine that has a
Mm-hmm.
substance at 1% that is called clostebol. Clostebol is a substance that is in the prohibited list of VADA and most
Okay.
of the substances that appear in the list. But the thing about
Okay.
clostebol is that there has been several situations of many athletes that have gone through this. So you would think that at this moment in time, all the doping companies will have in consideration
Mm-hmm.
the athlete's career and the athlete's life before they do any hard
Right.
decisions, right? Because they actually do know what are the implications on this. Me as an athlete, I will see doping coming positive, and I will see how people will treat their athlete, and I will not be okay with it. But you see it, and you just don't know how
Right.
harsh, terrible it is. But now that I'm in that place, I I know that they know, and that's why it's
Hmm.
so hard for me to just let it go, because they did not care about my daughter's future. They did not care about my career. They did not care to be fair, and that's just crazy, because that is the only thing as fighters we actually have in this business: the
Right.
possibility and the guarantee that they will treat us fairly, right? So when the puppies were born, um, that was on a Wednesday, April 26th. From Thursday to Sunday, I was rushed to fill up the anti-doping voluntary form from VADA. But it
Right.
was, if you go to those forms and you read it, and if you try to fill it up, you will find yourself in an uncomfortable position, because there's questions like, you have to put where you're gonna be 24/7,
Hmm.
and you cannot miss. If they reach to that place and you're not there for whatever reason, that they assume that you're guilty of using something, right? And so
That's crazy.
it actually took me those 4 days to fill it up, because I will come back to my manager and say, well, how do I fill this and how do I do that? But because I went to the press conference, and I had just started training 2 weeks before. So I was, right when the puppies were born, I was adjusting again to the routine of
Hmm.
training, cooking what I needed to eat, taking care of my daughter, her school, the puppies. The puppies, we had to clean them and give them to eat every 2 hours. So
Hmm.
while you clean the stuff and all of that, they will sleep only half an hour, and then you will start over in the cleaning and all of
Yeah.
this.
Hmm.
So I was exhausted, and it did take me a lot to try to fill it up. And when I did it, when I was finally able to do it, it was Sunday night, almost 12 at night. I sent it to my ex-manager at the time. Monday, it was a holiday in Costa Rica. And
Hmm.
Tuesday, May the 2nd, the agent was in the gym taking my sample. But when he came to the gym, he said something that was unusual. He said that the petition for my exam was done in an unusual way, because he was in a rush. And
Okay.
I asked him why, and he said, "Well, I don't know. It is never done like that, but right." And I said,
Hmm.
"Well, maybe it's because the fight is in a month or so. So whatever." We took the sample, but because I just had sparred.
Hmm.
When you're in a, I don't know if people know this, boxers know this, trainers know this, but usually people don't know about this. When your body is in a situation where your body is in danger, like in a sparring session, the body avoids all, like, the natural, like, if you need to pee, that is cut off, right? If you need to go
Hmm.
to the bathroom, that is cut off, because the most important is the vital parts that will help you to defend yourself. So after a fight or after you do sparring, it will take you more than 1 hour to be able to actually pee. You will pee just little bits, because your body has all of those places closed up. Okay. So until you're able to relax, you will pee. So it actually took me 3 hours to pee this much.
Oh
And
my goodness.
because I'm very famous in my country, and an athlete of many years, the
Hmm.
agent knows me, And while we were waiting, for me to be able to pee, um, the conversation of the puppies came up because I love my animals, and I was so excited, and I showed him and everything. And when he saw the C-section, he got worried, and he expressed to me that we needed to fill out a supplementary form because
Mm,
in cases that have happened before with athletes, the only opportunity that we actually have to defend ourselves is that supplementary form
okay.
because once you sign the form for you to be enlisted in the program, everything will be used against you. The supplementary
Mm,
form is your only opportunity for them to treat you with with the benefit of the doubt, right? So we filled out the supplementary form, we got the evidence, and we sent it together. Next week they came back and they did the second exam. And then fast forward 10 days before the fight, they gave me a verbal notification that the fight was over. I mean, canceled, that the fight was off, that they had a substitute, and that the next 48 hours were going to be the worst of my life. Everything was very messy. They made it public the next day. June 7th, I sent a letter to the president of the voluntary anti-doping agency, uh,
you know if that
petitioning
was
to her
Margaret or
that she
you
will
sent that to Margaret?
review the documentation that the supplementary form had, because it just seemed to me like they ignored it, right? Because
Right.
when they announced it and made it public, they didn't say Hannah was positive for clostebol from the medicine dogs as a supplementary.
Right.
They didn't say any of that. They said Hannah was positive from a derivative, the
Derivative.
derivative, but you said of testosterone. So if you think about it, the way that it was informed to the public,
Right.
it was to make me look guilty, right?
Like you
And
want that stuff. Yeah. Hmm.
they actually sometimes said that they did not know what was the substance. I actually got a call from my ex promoter at the time that said that the substance was doubled, that the B sample was doubled, but according to their law, they cannot open the sample B unless I ask for it. But
Hmm.
if I ask for the sample B to be open, they can discard the petition if they are able to demonstrate that the chain of custody of the urine was done correctly, the samples, right? So,
Right.
and also, when you ask for the B sample to be open, you are accusing them of not doing their job right. So
Oh wow.
if they prove that the chain of custody was done right, they just discard the petition, and I am guilty. Because if they're not guilty, I'm guilty. So I did not
Hmm.
open the B sample because it was known to my knowledge and to their knowledge that I could be contaminated accidentally by the spray. But they just ignored it and they made a party of it. They got me out of the way. And it's been 2 years since that. I never got sanctioned. My belts were taken away from inactivity because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if my credibility is based and has been built up on positive things, if I am positive or something like that, I'm a hypocrite. So
Hmm.
a personality like mine loses all credibility, loses most support. Um, people still support me. They're amazing with me, but unfortunately, this episode in any of its forms is non beneficial for any brand. So even though the brands
Right.
will want to work with me, they would rather not. And that's, pretty much what has happened ever since. Clarissa still keeps perpetuating the narrative that I'm guilty. I reach out to her, I send her the proof, and I told her, I did not cheat. And if you ever decide to be, because she said that if she gives me a chance, it will be out of mercy. And I said, well, if you are merciful enough one day to give me a chance, and you keep repeating that I'm a cheater, I will destroy you. I will destroy you. It's not fair. I have gone through enough. And she doesn't really have respect for anybody.
She
And I
doesn't.
don't expect, for her to respect, you know, um, somebody says, oh, respect is earned. And I don't believe that. I believe that respect is something that we all should give, because it's a
Hmm.
matter of giving respect. We all should be respected. And when you lack of respect for others, you lack of respect for yourself. It is a reflection of that. So I don't want her respect. It's not like I need it or anything, but I do need her to stop lying, because I have fought one time in the last almost 5 years. And this
Right.
is the fact that any of us who want to fight in Clarissa's division, we have to wait on her for her to want to fight any of us. If she doesn't fight, the division doesn't move. And that's how it's
Right.
been for years now. So when they
I was
say
gonna.
that it
Hmm.
is helpful for the women's boxing, yes, it is helpful for her and maybe
Hmm.
for the people that surrounds her, but for all of the women that are just there waiting on something to happen
Hmm.
for us, it's very difficult. It's very difficult, especially if she's tarnishing everything that you have built.
I was gonna ask you that because, I know before she had said she would do the rematch, and then she switched it. Why should she fight a drug treat, a cheat, and all this other stuff? Take me back to that initial fight, right? Because I was hyped in that fight. Like when you knocked her down, I was like, "Woo!" But then, obviously she ended up winning that fight. But take me to that fight and then like what happened, your preparation, during that whole situation. And then obviously after we know, as you just explained, you couldn't get the rematch. But take me through that fight and what happened. Because like you said, the
2000
division don't move without her. So, you know.
2018 was the year that
Hmm.
we fought, and we actually broke records of audience, if I'm not wrong. Um,
Hmm.
I remember she would say that I was too little, too slow, and too old
Hmm.
to do her any damage. And at the time, we took the fight, but we did not, especially me, right? I she has more than 70 amateur fights, and she was a
Hmm.
two-time Olympian champion. When I used to
Right.
box, there was not possibility for women to go into the Olympics.
Right.
And because I'm from Central America, there's not a lot of opportunities for us in sports.
Hmm.
So I only had one amateur fight, and then I went to pros.
Right.
I don't know how many fights I had when I fought her, maybe 19 or something like that. Um, but for the many years that I've been in the professionals, I actually haven't fought a lot as I wish I would have.
Right. The women's division is
So
kind of,
when, huh?
the women's division isn't a lot of competition anyway. So.
I was the champion for 154 pounds since 2010, and I
Mhm.
fought her in 160 in 2018. So I was the
18.
154 champion there, and I asked for permission. The WBO said, "Well, if you lose the fight, I have to take away your belt." and the WBA
Right.
did not take my belt away. But I went up to 160. We had the fight that we had. Like I said, I did not expect myself to do well because of her experience.
Mm-hmm.
And actually thought that she was bigger and much stronger. And then
Mm-hmm.
I came to find out that I fought bigger and stronger before. So um, I did not expect I did not expect to do as well. But when my goal has always been to become the best boxer that I can be, because since I
Mm-hmm.
got here late, I have always felt like I have to catch up. My
Right.
experience just isn't enough, and I started so late. I started when I was 24 or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
if I would have started at 9 years old or at 10 years old, I can only imagine,
Mm-hmm.
all the great things
Yeah.
that I could do now. But so I've
Mm-hmm.
always tried to catch up. And when I fought her, I realized that I wasn't that far away from what I actually wanted to become. So I trained
Right.
harder. And she said that she wanted to become undisputed in 154, which at the time when she came down, it was 2021. And I have already been reigning on that division for 11 years. So when she
Mm-hmm.
came down, I only thought that our rematch was going to happen. To my surprise, they announced the fight of the century against Yves Dicker, which was the IBF champion at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
Clarissa was the WBC and the WBO champion, and I was the WBA champion. But they were fighting for the undisputed. I mean, they were fighting also for my belt that night without having to face me. And I just wonder why would they avoid me if the first fight was such a great fight? It will only meant money. To have fought
Yeah.
me at some point for the undisputed would have meant a lot. It would have been a different fight, a better fight, a more exciting fight. But in terms of
Mm-hmm.
money, which they say is the only thing that they care about, it would have meant a lot. And I know this because at the time, like I said, they were selling this fight as the fight of the century. But when we were going to fight in 2023, her
Mm-hmm.
ex-manager Mark Taffet said on the post-fight conference that they actually broke the ceiling in comparison with her fight against Savannah Marshall in the UK. So they did better numbers when our fight card was going to happen. So it only makes sense that for the business sake, a fight like that will happen. But that was the first time that I understood that fighting me represented such a high risk for their undisputed, uh, undefeated narrative. And so they just avoided me. They fought for my belt that night. 2 days before, I hadn't said one word about that. And then 2 days before that fight, Clarissa posted a picture where she, in the description, said, "Good morning, 2 more days." And she had a picture of me being punched in the face. And I thought it was disrespectful, not only to Eve DeCare, which was the person that she was fighting against, but it was,
Mm-hmm.
how Clarissa is. And so I know that it was her message to me, letting me know that she was fighting for my belt without having to face me. With people that behave like her, this these little games are usual. So I knew
Yeah.
that she knew what she was doing, what she was getting with it, the type of backup that she has, and she
Yeah.
just wanted to rub it in my face. So I made a letter and I told her, it doesn't matter how everybody dresses. I accept that this is I accept the big picture. I understand that, you
Yeah.
know, the position that you have in this world is big. So I will not get in the way of this, but you know your task is not complete until you face me. That undisputed in the 154 is not legitimate. She should have fought me for my belt.
Hmm.
So I moved to the heavyweights. And when in 2023 came, they called me to fight in 160 and I came down again. So I went up in 2018. I came down in 2000. Well, I was there in 2021. They avoided me in 2023. I came down, and then all of the um, doping situation happened.
I was going to ask you,
I'm gonna try
how
to.
were they able to do that? How were they able to fight for your belt with you still being there?
Well, that is one of the things. I will show. I will send it to you, but I will try to. I think I have it here because I actually.
Okay.
I want to show you. Maybe you can see
Exclusive.
here where she
Hmm.
posted.
Oh my goodness.
She
Mm.
posted 2 more days, right? And so that was the letter. I will show you here um, the the um, the rankings at the time that night because that is very important. I always tell people I'm so glad that I took that picture because it was very difficult for me to not only deal with it because when you're a champion and your sponsorships depends on you being a champion. How do you explain your sponsors that your belt is being taken away and you're not longer a champion?
Yeah.
No, how do you explain those things? How to Okay, so you
And
can see here it
and just to
was
be
it
it
was
says
March.
2021.
I don't know
Hmm.
if I can say it. It says March the 5th.
Hmm.
And that was the day that, let me see if I can show it to you. The champions were there, and I am the one in the top. I'm gonna send it to you so that you can
Yeah,
show
send
it
it
to
and
your
I'll pull it
people.
up. I'll pull it up on the screen. But I did want to ask you, right? So this was before, just so we're clear, this was before the VADA situation.
Yes, that was 2021.
That's
So I moved
crazy.
to the heavyweights, and on 2023 they called me to 160, and I went down. the
Hmm.
the situation of the doping test happened, which I'm gonna upload today again all the documentation so that people can see for itself because I like people to see the evidence. I think I've been the only athlete that has been transparent as this, like to put everything so that people see where everything was went wrong and where everything was right. But yes, when they got me out of the way with the VADA situation, they couldn't sanction me, but my belt was taken away on February 2024 because of an inactivity. But remember, I couldn't fight because I couldn't organize anything. I didn't have any credibility. And I
Right.
I was given my adjudication letter with the resolution that I was innocent until November 2023. So I didn't really have time to organize anything or the sanctioning bodies or anybody didn't even really came out and say, hey, listen, Hannah is innocent. Everything that was said was wrong. So, if nobody says anything, if the situation is like a low profile, people still believe you are guilty of something. The idea is, she must have done something really bad
Yeah.
so
So we're clear. They fought for your belt that was taken from you, or you still have that belt.
they took it away on February 2024 because of inactivity, and in March, Joe Anez was fighting for the belt, which was later fought for Clarissa later on the next fight.
Okay.
So
So they wanted her to
when
have
when
that belt.
Clarissa says that I am the one that doesn't want to fight. When she says that I cheated, when she says that she attributes the knockdown that to pet's work, when she says that she offered me a fight and that I denied, that I turn it down, it usually has to do because they're trying to be unfair. I was offered this
Right.
year to fight them, but they wanted me to fight in the heavyweights, and I am not longer in the heavyweight. I've been 2 years without resources, without being able to train constantly, and
Mm-hmm.
I will have to gain about 10 pounds to be able to fight her. And like I said, I don't have the resources or anything to do that type of work. And for you to gain 10 pounds of power, it takes you about 8 to 10 months. If you
Mm-hmm.
gain 10 pounds in 2 months, it will be weight that you will drag and that it will make you tired along the way. So
Right.
that's why I said, I never said no. I tried to negotiate with them for a deal that was a little more fair. They didn't even
Mm-hmm.
get back at me, but they had the nerve to say that I did, that I've been bluffing and that I don't want to fight her. And I am not longer, I don't want to be placed in a position where they can use things against me. If I sign
Right.
a contract where I promise that I'm going to be more than 176 pounds, and if I am
Right.
not, they will charge me money for that. They could probably
Mm-hmm.
even cancel the fight. They will have an advantage because they'll be heavier, and is this I'll be fighting in disadvantage trying to prove what, right? So I believe that it is responsible for me and for my career and for my family that if I am going to take any steps and if I am going to fight at all, it has to be under fair conditions, and it has to be from a position where I can be of service for others.
Right.
If I shut myself up, I will only condemn others to this situation. They need to understand the weight of each one of those rules and how they need to be treated, and how those rules need to be applied to them fairly. And what happens if they do not apply them fairly? How can they gain any power? They really have to participate in these conversations because I believe people think we are dumb. I remember
Mm-hmm.
one ex promoter of mine. I don't think he likes me anymore at all, but I remember I saw him and he met my daughter. My daughter was about 7 years old at the time, maybe 8. And he asked her, so do you want to be a boxer? And my daughter went like, right, because she's an artist. She rather speak than to fight and all of these things. So she went like this, right? And
Good.
he immediately said, "Oh yeah, don't do that because only dumb." And then he just like freezed, right? Because he was about to say how stupid of dumb people are the ones that we do fight, and it was funny to me because his whole career, all of his income depends on those dumb boxers that he manages.
Yeah.
So I want athletes to understand that they are
Mm-hmm.
more than dogs in a cage. That the very thing that keeps this business alive is us, the boxers,
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
really we really have to we really have to come together. It's not about fighting each other's battles, but it is about being vocal about the changes that has to happen so that we are fair, are treated fairly, and so that our descendants' uh, future is not jeopardized, like what happened in my case.
Do you think that you're being like blackballed almost because you're speaking out so vocally?
No, I actually started speaking like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Like a month ago, I actually finished my investigation. I've been blackballed because at the end of the day, I did not know that all of these things happens. But if I, you know, the if you're an institution that violated each one of your regulations to get that boxer out of the way, is in your best interest to keep her away, and that's why they did the situation with the doping. I want people to understand when an athlete is accused of being positive and cheating, that is the end of
Hmm.
their career. Like nobody recovers from this. Nobody. I haven't
It's
seen
weird that you say
any
that
athlete.
because she was, she popped dirty for marijuana. They gave her the benefit of the doubt. They let her clear that up. But recently, we've been seeing a string of boxers who have been popping for one reason or another. So, do you think like their test is too stringent, or what do you think is going on with the testing?
I
Because like the
think the
last week, we got
testing.
like two or three.
I think that the testing, if it has a scientific background and analysis, then it should be. But let's say 15 years ago, marijuana was prohibited. 3 years
Hmm.
ago, it was not prohibited anymore in the list. VADA and them did not punish marijuana, but the ones that punishes marijuana are the local commissions. So what
Hmm.
happened with Clarissa's situation is that the sanctioning bodies were okay with it, but the commission of Michigan wasn't. And so, this is politics, and they are trying to make, what they say matter and all of this. And the only one that is affected is the athlete. So, but Clarissa has a team that will go, you know, right away to
Yeah.
the problem and will fix it and do whatever they need to be done. It's like what has been happening with the YouTubers. I mean, she's gonna lose all of those lawsuits because she's the
Yeah.
one putting outside all of the information that everybody's talking about. But she has her team blackballing everybody. Telling them to shut
Hmm.
up, telling them to stop talking about her and stuff like that. So when you have that kind of power, you get away with a lot of things. And if there is an industry behind it that has, like I said, check it out. If Clarissa doesn't fight, the division is not moving. If she fight
Hmm.
twice a year the division fights. So there's everybody is trying to fight to have an opportunity to fight, and the only opportunity to fight is to wait in line for her to decide it will be worthy of her attention. So the business
Yeah.
has closed up a lot. And even though there is a lot of talent, a lot of great boxers, and a lot of
Hmm.
potential, because people want the best boxers, they want to see the best boxers, but they don't want them to have the process that they need. And they need to have hard fights for them to grow. And you're not really seeing that anymore. Um,
Yeah.
and that's because the ones that the ones that represent the risk, um, are not longer taken into consideration because we can truly mess up the whole narratives or their business as a whole.
Yeah, you're high risk, low reward in certain situations. But have you thought about maybe reaching out to Jake? Because I know he's doing wonders for women's boxing now.
Yes, but I think he reached out here in Costa Rica for some.
Okay.
He signed some other boxers, but I do not work with their representative because, well, he was my representative at some point, it didn't
Mhm.
end well, and I wouldn't work with him. So I believe because he works with them, that's probably the
Oh.
barrier. But
Mhm.
the other day I was speaking to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. I was telling because
Mhm.
he had at some point he thought that I was doing this so that I can be allowed to fight. And
Mhm.
when you're an athlete that play by the rules and you behave well, you're not difficult or problematic. That's why I say in my document that the the athlete silence some to not be taken as a problematic many times becomes the very dirt that we are buried with. And
Mhm.
I am not here saying all of this to ask for permission. They have taken away from me so much. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I have come to terms with and that the Lord has teaching me is that even though they took away a lot, none of it is has to do with his blessings. The
Right.
ones that keep me fighting and the ones that keep me walking with my head high. So if I fight again, it will be because of his will. But if I don't get to fight again, I want people to understand that they do not longer have power over me in that sense. The belts are
Mhm.
not important. They have teach me that the belts, are now used as they please. There's not honor anymore in between champions.
Mhm.
Champions are willing to jump over that to assure their place and for it not to be threatened. And I
Yes.
believe the that the us being eager to defend our title was what made boxing great and
Mhm.
is in its essence. So if I have to be uh move apart from that, that's fine with me. If they decide to fight me, they have to know they are facing real danger. And
Mhm.
once I step into the canvas with with all my love and with all my humility, they have to understand I cannot let go on this opportunity. Is now or never, and whoever steps in the way, I will get him, will get her out of the way. I have no time to waste. And if I ever get to
Mhm.
fight her, then I'll get to handle and settle things with her personally.
Yeah.
It
So say
is
you get the
you.
rematch. The rematch, does it look different than the first fight? I mean, aside obviously from the knockdown, because that's the first time I ever seen her be down. So that in itself was like, whoa. But if you do, because like I said, she has spoken about it briefly in passing. But if that opportunity arises again, what does that look like?
If she's willing to fight in 154, we can do it. Like I said, I cannot
Mhm.
go to heavyweights at this point because I'm 163. So as soon as I
Okay.
start training, I will lose around 10 pounds, like very easy.
Mhm.
So it will be almost a mission to maintain the weight. I'm a
Right.
42-year-old that has been an athlete since I was 5, and I have always been constant. So my body does not gain weight easy. It's a very efficient body, and so I wouldn't fight her in heavyweights because I will give her an advantage that is not needed. I want us
Right.
to face ourselves in the best of her conditions and in the best of my conditions so that she knows today I am superior. I am superior. And if she wants to prove me wrong, like she told Layla Ali, let's fight. Let's fight.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
Yeah.
this fight more than I.
Yeah, she, obviously that whole situation where they were kind of going, well, she was going back and forth with herself because Layla was kind of like, over it. But she did want to fight Layla Ali. And then I know Shadeja Green wants to fight with her. I think Franchon wants a rematch. So.
Like I said, the division is stuck. Is stuck up if she doesn't do anything. Like
Yeah.
that is how women's boxing is working for us. If she
Hmm.
doesn't move, if she doesn't fight, then the division is freezed. There's very
Yeah.
little that we can do because all the attention is dragged to her, So I mean, like, I'm not trying to fight that and I'm not trying to compete with that. Like I said, if I get to
Hmm.
fight, uh, somebody told me, when I was fed up of Clarissa saying that I was a cheater, and she knowing the truth. And so I made a
Yeah.
post that said to Mauricio Suleiman, the president of WBC, why
Mauricio.
haven't you stopped her from saying this? I will get the truth out with your help or without your help. And I received a message saying, Hannah, trust me, there's other ways to do these things. Erase that. So I erased it. And there was this person telling me that I needed to write a letter to Clarissa, for her to understand where I was in that I was, I did not cheat, and for her to give me an opportunity. So it just seemed weird to me, but I got on the call with this person and I asked him, if Clarissa actually says she likes beef, why why are we even writing a letter to like be friends with her? And he said, that's a good question. And I said to him, listen, I have nothing to regret. I did not cheat. I
Right.
I I gave her that fight with one amateur fight only. That
Mm.
was the moment I realized I had more. I have become the best boxer I can become. I What you see in that fight is a 25% of what I am now. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I told him I have total confidence that if she likes beef, this is the best place to come to because she's
Mm.
gonna have a lot in her plate. And
Hmm.
I just can't wait for that moment. If it doesn't happen, it will be the will of God and it will be a good thing for her. Trust me.
Mm. So where are you now? Are you like in talks with anybody? Anything in the works? Or we kind of just,
Yes, hoping to sign a contract this or next week. I'm waiting for
okay,
them to review it. I might fight in Costa
okay,
Rica next year and in Hawaii.
okay,
Um, and just trying to get active and fighting again,
right,
trying to take advantage of the last 2 years. But
right,
it's it's been 5 years of things. I actually signed two more contracts before this thing happened. In After the 2023 episode, I signed two contracts, and I wasn't able to do anything with them because the promoters, they sign me and they hope to for the Clarissa fight to happen. So they do not
right.
invest in the fights, but they are hoping that this fight
Mm.
happens. And when it doesn't happen, then they don't do things, and I'm stuck again. So
They go right for
I
that big money
just
fight. Hmm.
yeah. So it is like I said, for us, the boxers, the business has become difficult, and I remember not just recently. There's has been a petition forward to keep Dana White out of boxing,
I was
and there
about to
was
ask you about the Ali Act. What do you think about
The
them
Ali
making
Act,
changes?
yes. And they were saying, uh, right now it doesn't matter how boxing and how corrupt it is, but a boxer at least knows how much was in the bucket and how much he's taking. And I was like, well, there is a truth to that, and there's not a truth to that, because if I come to you and I tell you there's 10,000 but there is actually 50,000, you don't know how much is in the pocket. And then if I offer you 10,000 and you say no, you rather have 15, they will say no to you and they will go to another one that will take 8,000. So the
Mm,
boxer doesn't really have an opportunity to decide. You take it or leave it. And they are now offering sometimes less than the minimum, because at the end of the day, we have to cover training expenses. And if you're paid $3,000 and your training expenses cost you 5,000, it makes no sense to
yeah,
do all that sacrifice to go fight, to receive some punches and owe money
right.
because you have spent more than you have received, right? So boxing
Hmm.
has become a dangerous place for boxers, not a place. It used to be a place where you can dream about getting your life situation better. Right now, it's about deciding if you love the sport so much to go get punched, and
Yeah,
and that's it. Be happy. Be happy that we opened this door for you. You know.
that's crazy.
But
That's
we'll see. We'll
crazy.
see what happens. I'm excited, and like I said, if the fight against Clarissa doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'll only count on people wanting to see this fight. The fans are the
Hmm.
ones that have the ability to ask for this, and that's my only power. But
And I
sometimes
can't see
that's enough.
why people wouldn't want to see it. You gave her a good fight. Even though you are in your 40s, so is Layla Ali. Layla Ali's been out of the ring longer than you.
Oh, but
You
I
know what
give
I mean?
the last 6 years I have worked in my craft, so that's why I say I haven't fought, and this seems to be also like a intentional thing from the industry, to keep me getting
Hmm.
older and now fight. And she's fighting a lot, and
No,
she's
she's not.
doesn't
She's not
seem
really
like
fighting
she's
that.
getting better. I saw her very sloppy the last time. But that is just a symptom of having fights, of fighting fights that are not in your level, right? So you get
Hmm.
sloppy, you kind of, you know, kind of miss the track a little bit. But that's one of the things that I am very proud of, because even though they have tried to stop me from doing all these things and they have jeopardized my daughter's future, one thing for certain is that they haven't stopped the growth. I
Mm.
am not half of what you saw in that fight. They they are not favorites when it comes to our fight. And I
Mm.
am happy because when people hear me saying this, they go like, "Oh, go and bet for her, lose some money. It's gonna be fun.
Mm.
I can't
I
wait."
hope you get that fight, and I will definitely. I mean, anything I can do to make it loud and proud, I will. I've always said that she is the best of the rest. She doesn't really have a lot of competition, so I feel like the more women in the sport, the better. I know some of the women have dropped their belts in concert for the 3 minute rounds. I know Alicia Baumgartner was supposed to fight her 3 minute rounds. Sharetta Metcalf, Amanda
I want to do
Serrano
that as
was
well.
supposed to
12,
do
three
for,
minutes.
yeah,
That's the deal.
yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're making slow strides. That's why I said maybe you can hook up with Jake. Jake is amazing for women's boxing. He's definitely spotlighting them in a way that no other has. So for sure, and obviously she doesn't want to work with him. She's doing her own thing with Salida Promotions. But still, his stable is growing, and you may be able to get some fights and be active over there until that clash.
yeah. Well, I believe the situation from the doping has made a lot of the promoters think that I could be dangerous for the promotional, right? Even though I have gotten the word out, it's not like everybody pays attention to this. And, getting involved with me means that, uh, you know, uh, m- might mean they going against some people's interest. And, that could
Mm-hmm.
translate to uh, bad relations, and
Yeah.
so I know, if you have a business partner and you like this figure for your brand, but your partner, doesn't really want to
Yeah.
deal with that because, the brands, it goes something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's why I have been uh not blackballed, but not taken into consideration. And every time somebody brings me into the conversation, they say I do pets, or they say I am problematic, or I bring high risk, because when they think about positive testing, when they think about positive testing, they think about finding a substitute. They think about losing money, and so
Mm-hmm.
even though I'm innocent and I have been a champion for many years, and I did show up professionally each time, it only takes this
One time. Yep.
to tarnish the whole image of the athlete. So that's why I believe it has been hard for those brands to even try to look at me in that way. I think they see the
Consider it.
potential, but there's a lot of noise around it. And like I said, if I participate with any of this, I will be subject to, again, what the sanctioning bodies, VADA, and all of these people
Right.
do and say. And I am free for it now, from it now.
That's
I would like to
fantastic.
keep it like that as much as I could, as much as I can. If I have to do this because of titles, that's fine. If I have to do it because I have to fight a champion, that's fine. But it is not what I'm pursuing today. It is not important to me. To me, what is
Right.
important now is to be able to fight and be able to walk away from my sport with dignity, and to be able to secure my daughter's future because she deserves it. We have
Right.
worked a lot, and
Right.
it has always, the main purpose is for her to have what we didn't have, So let's hope that the Lord gives me that opportunity, and if it happens, I'm just grateful for you, your support, your people's support,
Of
and
course.
just the opportunity to speak and to be heard, because I did not get a
Yep.
lot of that at that moment. And it is relieving to be able to leave something bigger than a title, you know?
Absolutely. When I read the story, I was like, wait a minute. If you submitted all the forms, what in the blank, blank, blank are they doing? Like she's done everything. She showed that it was the medication that she was giving to her dog. It's there. I didn't understand it. So I'm glad that you made the time to come on the platform and explain, what really happened. And I'm glad that you're shedding a light on a lot of the things that's going on with VADA because, especially if I feel like you've submitted all the paperwork for your circumvention or whatever the case may be, they should have taken that into a little more consideration. You know what I mean? Instead of just, you know?
And that's what I want people to understand. Even though they know how damaging it will be, they will still
Yeah.
go over it if they have an interest, a financial interest, or whatever interest they have.
Mm,
And that's how, and this is one of the things that I want people to understand, because when we have all of these conversations, Nobody seems to understand that they are an legal entity, that they have rules and regulations that if you do not respect them, you are facing the very worst that an athlete can face in any legal form. So that means that if they disrespect and go against their own rules, I want people to ask themselves, what does this mean? Why will they do that? What will be the reason why a legal entity will violate each one of the rules to get what? I'm
Money.
in the middle of that situation. And I believe accountability has to go both ways. This is where
Yeah.
everything is wrong. They want to make us, the athletes, responsible for all the money that they lose if a situation like this happens. We have to pay for the exams. We have to pay them for their time, for their documentation. We have to pay fines, and they're not even willing to treat us with the respect and the integrity that our information should be treated, to avoid the destruction of a lifetime of work. So it
Yeah.
is important for people to understand that even though they are the entities that regulate things, their very existence is because of us. We are the
Yep.
ones that have to uh, hold them accountable,
Mm-hmm.
because if not, everything becomes a power and vulnerable structure where we are always to lose.
Yeah. And I just don't, I feel like I don't want this to be your legacy in boxing. You know what I mean? Like you worked so hard to achieve championships and to become on a certain level, and then just to have this, to have it end like this, basically over a lie. You know what I mean? Because you've taken the steps to clear that up. That would just be
They
shameful.
were hoping, they were hoping this will happen. But if there is something that is certain in my life, is that the Lord sustains me. And that is the only reason why I have been able to hang in there for such a long time. Trust me, there's been many, many, many times I have wanted to quit, and I have thought that the best decision is to retire. People have told me, well, you have done enough already, so it is okay if you retire like this. But I, I do not accept for 1 second that this place that the Lord gave me to do such great things for others has to end up like this. Not for my daughter. She don't deserve to walk around and people say, "Oh, your mom cheated," and as if she's undignified or not
Yeah.
honorable. You know,
Hmm.
that's not the
Last
case.
question, Hannah, and then I'm gonna let you go because I know you got stuff to
It's
do.
okay, my sister.
What?
Don't worry.
Okay. To anyone who's ever doubted you, mislabeled you, or misunderstood the situation, what would you say to those people?
Well, I will say I understand them, because we have really been trained to believe that these people know what they do, that they know what they're
Hmm.
doing, that they have all of this information and they're able to see through a lot of things, and that there's something really wrong with that athlete if he is positive for something.
Right.
I do understand that for an athlete to go and do something to grant an advantage in their performance over other athlete is not honorable. I
Right.
understand that. And like I said, I've been an athlete for many years. And the one thing I have as an athlete is respect for my sports or for everything that I have done. But after living through what I have lived through, I want to say to all of you to please do not fall into the trap of believing everything that you hear.
Mm.
When we are athletes, when we are any personality that you might know, there is a responsibility on our behalf with the public, yes. Not everybody honors it, but you can see who honors it and who doesn't by their character, by how they have built their life, by how they speak, by how they conduct themselves with others. And I have worked really hard for people to have no doubt of the type of person that I am. I am not noisy. I mean, I have been silenced in many ways, but I have been moving silently, and I have been moving silently because sometimes the noise, it doesn't make you strong. In
Yeah.
this process, I have had to learn to watch, to listen, and to understand uh, what happens when an athlete is in the middle of all of these things. And I believe um, you, the public, is the very tool that they use against us because they
Mm-hmm.
know you will be merciless, because they
Mm-hmm.
know
Condemn.
you will go that hard on us. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a knife with a double end. There's athletes, and the majority of them respect what they do, and they respect you. So please do not rush into judging them too hard. They usually have a life. They usually have family, and they usually don't have bad intentions. So let it rest there first before you go there and even menace them with death, because I even had those type of menaces and messages. It was pretty tough to read how people can get that violent. I'm not scared because I can defend myself, but they will get violent against you,
Yeah.
and there's not much you can do in that situation, especially when you're innocent and they are not allowing you
To
to
speak. Yeah.
to speak your truth.
This is an amazing, powerful story, Hannah. I thank you so much for coming up and sharing your story with us. And if you get that fight, if things go through, please let me know so we can, you know, just push it out there so we can get as many eyes on you as possible. And, do well, put that pressure up. Maybe we'll get that rematch.
I appreciate it. Just by you
Okay.
giving me the opportunity to speak up a little bit and to
Absolutely.
warn others about this dangers is more than enough. I do believe that if that fight happens or whatever fight happens, um,
Hmm.
I will be lucky and fortunate to step in the canvas again. And I know that I will count on your support, and I'm so grateful for that. Um, but you just have done enough. Thank you for sitting there and listening to this story, because sometimes I believe is like this is a very boring story, and but it
No, it's
is,
very interesting.
but like this somebody told me, oh, Hannah, why you gonna do this document? Nobody's gonna read that. And I said, exactly. That is exactly what they want you to do, to be like that is too much information. That is too nerdy. That is too complicated. That is blah blah blah. And then when the moment comes for you to face these trials, you are a complete ignorant. So no,
Yeah.
it is important that we participate in the in the conversation, and that's why I did. And I'm
Hmm.
gonna post it today and today again, my documents,
Okay.
so that
Okay.
people can access them and download them and review them, because it is also like a guide for athletes to understand what are the things that they should expect for them to be treated fairly, the rules that they have to follow.
Absolutely.
If those rules are not followed, there's something weird going on. They have to be on top of this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Hannah.
Thank you, my dear, and have an amazing evening. Many
You
blessings to
too.
you, to your daughter, to your loved ones, and may
Thank
God
you.
prosper your channel. Thank you for being on top of all of us boxers, our stories, and everything that we do. You guys are very important. I have come to notice. I did not know that you guys had so many podcasts in of boxing in YouTube.
Oh
Like
yeah.
recently, maybe a month or 2 months ago, I started seeing some of you guys, and I will follow and I will watch. And the media is so biased now that is very hard
Mhm.
to see people speaking facts, speaking boxing
Yep.
as a whole, as the analytical, study that it should be. You hear the commentators on a fight saying that was a great right of this person, and they're getting hit by the right of the other person.
Yeah.
And is the commentaries are favoring others, and people are not people many of the people that are following boxing now, they don't know boxing, and so they fall
Mhm.
into whatever is said, and they're very emotional, and we are losing the essence of what the sweet science is. So you guys keep it alive, and I want to thank you for that, because it's been
Of course.
refreshing to see your content and to see that there's
Thank
people that can
you.
actually value boxing still.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, it is hard. You're right. They are very emotional. It's before I like entered this space, I was not aware how many emotional men there were. It's a little alarming sometimes, but you got to have thick skin and you got to just be willing to, keep it moving. But we here.
Yeah,
So
it's
anytime you
crazy.
wanna pop on, just pop on and I will make a space for you. I will kick some of these fools off my panel, child, and make you a space right on here.
You will be my under, my sister. Have an amazing day, and I
Oh, you
will
too,
I will
Hannah.
keep on watching you. I will have my notification
You.
bottom started so that I can see you anytime. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, honey. Ooh, child. Hold on. Y'all know me. I got to use the bathroom. Yeah, that was so ghetto. I'm sorry. I thought I had my thing up here with the music so y'all could at least listen to some music while I ran on down to town. I couldn't even find that. Y'all know I'll be sitting here, child. But anyway, thank y'all all so much for joining me. I love the conversation with Hannah. It just gives us a different perspective of the sports, the back end, the not so pretty end, the things that go on behind closed doors before they get to the ring, after they come out the ring during a situation. I thought it was very important, especially in this time that we're experiencing now. We've had what two dirty boys this week alone. Earlier this year we've had several, and then recently, like I said, Joseph Parker as well as Subriel Matias. So it's just a conversation to be had. We don't know why all these guys are. Well, we know what's going on with Parker, goddamn it. But the ostarine thing with Matias can be contamination. We really don't know. So we have to just wait and see with some of these situations. I really hope she does email me that list because I want to take a little bit of a closer look at it because apparently you can have hands, not wash your hands good enough, go to the bathroom, I guess, and for whatever reason, it's in your pores. So I definitely I want to look into that because it's very fascinating, very entertaining. Um, Interesting, not entertaining so much, but you know, as far as her and the whole Clarissa Shields with the rematch thing, I definitely I wouldn't mind seeing that fight again. You know, there's not a lot of women in Clarissa's weight class, around her weight class that she hasn't fought already, so I don't know why anybody would be crying about her getting a rematch or crying about Hannah's age when ain't nobody crying about her trying to fight Layla Ali, and Layla Ali is older than Hannah and been out of the ring longer than Hannah. So, you know, no, that's neither here nor there though. Thank you guys for joining me. I do know this is not my regular time. If y'all want to come up for 2 damn minutes, don't be up here talking all night because I got things to do. But if y'all want to come up for a second, we can drop the link for just a second just to see what y'all got going on. And y'all know tomorrow we will be live. For the post fight actually, you know what, I'm sorry, I don't have time, I have to run out, but we will be live for the post fight tomorrow, guys. Do not forget, the weigh-ins look really good. Devin still looks sunken like a skeleton, but we'll talk about that tomorrow as well. I love y'all all. Y'all have the best night. Be safe, and until then, y'all know what to do, baby. Catch mother on a panel. I am gone.